So unfortunately, my overhead camera died while I was recording the review, but actually that gave me some time to actually utilize the reMarkable and explore the features that this tablet actually has to offer, which is pretty interesting. I was a bit surprised at how much I was going to like this product. It seemed pretty simple on paper as to what this device is able to do. And, while exploring it, I found that, as advertised, it does those features pretty freaking well. I've gone through to give you a snippet of just what this device is capable of doing. I'll briefly go through some of the features that I've realized that this device is capable of. So you can easily swap between notes. Just swipe right, swipe left. If you get to the end, you want to do a new page, you'll see a box pop up to allow you to go to a new page. And I even had my brother test out drawing on this device, and it turned out pretty freaking good. Similar to what it would look like if he drew on paper. So I think it really captures that experience pretty freaking close to writing on paper. It's nice. One of the most recent things that I've come to find out about this this particular device is the fact that you actually have the capability, and let me zoom in here. You have the capability to, to essentially change the type of pen that you're writing with. So by default, you'll be writing with a pencil, and this is a pencil. That's essentially what it'll look. And I wasn't too much of a fan of that. I was like, some of the spots look like it doesn't have enough pressure on it. But I myself, I typically write with a mechanical pen, if you can see that. And so I went to the options and they have that as an option. So this a mechanical, so I've just rewrote that. And you can see it's a lot darker and it's not as, partially shaded as writing with a pencil, which suits my typical use case for it. Once again, just really love the feel and overall design of the pen. It really reminds me of holding a pencil, which is super freaking nice. There's some really cool options on here. You also have the ability to utilize a marker or a ballpoint pen or a fine liner, which is something that my sister typically writes with. This a fine liner. Pretty cool. To me, it's similar to writing with a pen, just even more darker as you write with it, which is nice. So I could see myself either writing with the fine liner or the mechanical pen. Either one would work for me in this situation, since you still have that erase capability. What I've come to actually really like is this calligraphy pen. And if you're not familiar with what that is essentially that almost like knife-like pen where essentially you dip it into ink and then write with it. But essentially this is what it looks like. So and I can't even spell that. I'd have to go back. Okay, calligraphy. So pretty freaking cool. I've become a fan of it. Depending on how you write with it, some parts will be thin and other parts will be darker, which is pretty freaking cool. So I'll erase that. The eraser on it works pretty freaking cool as well. But there's some other features to point out as well. For one, you'll notice like by default, you see this is how much real estate of the paper you get. But actually, if you hit this circle in the top left corner, you can hide that navigation bar that's off to the left, and you have this full canvas to work with outside of the part that you essentially hold it, which makes sense. But if I go back to that quick sheet and I expand the options that I have, you have some really cool things. So you can choose how thin it is, the color that you're using. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, you can choose between black, gray, and white, which is nice. All right, so no actual color. You can utilize an eraser. I haven't used this option just as there's been no point for me since I can utilize the eraser of this pen and that's been doing the job so far. But you can also reposition how things are laid out on your spreadsheet, which I found to be pretty responsive, really quick at getting that done and moving things from one place to another. And boom, moved it back. You have a back undo button and a redo button, which is cool. So if you want to quickly undo the previous action that you just specified, all you have to do is one tap, and that's it. You can go back to the main menu quickly by just pressing those 4 squares, which is helpful. And if I scroll down here, you can tag this with something that will make this easy to find. If you notice, when I go back to that tab, you can search for tags here. Oh, well, it's creating a tag. You can create tags, but what's also here is you have templates that I thought was pretty cool. And so you can choose the type of layout that you want for this actual digital piece of paper. So the most common, what you'll notice, is a piece of paper. In this case, I'll go with the US legal. And you can see that, boom, now I magically have lines. So this, if I switch back over to the pen, is me writing in the lines. So pretty nice there. But what's also cool with the templates is not only do you have those, but you have a selection to choose from. You have some creative templates, grids, life organizers, which is pretty cool. This is what one would look like. For example, if I got rid of that, you'd see it goes Sunday through Saturday. And then you also have the lines template, which is what I showed just a moment ago. But all in all, pretty solid stuff. I'm sure there's tons more features packed into this little device, but my first impression of it is, Jesus, it's pretty freaking cool. It's really comfortable to hold, which I wasn't expecting. And another thing that I like is that they really hit it out the park in terms of dimension, how big this thing is. I could clearly see that it was shorter than a piece of paper. A piece of paper is clearly longer than it, and it's about the same width, so I'll give it that. But yeah, piece of paper would be longer than it by a few centimeters. But essentially, this device is the same, almost the same dimension as a notebook. Put that on the desk there. So it's a little bit wider there, but way thinner, as you can see. And I guess if you account for the entire, including the hard case of it, it's about the same size almost, but still a bit thinner. But just, it's really nice how they did it. Would I recommend this? I like the product. I like what it's geared towards. It's certainly for a person that wants a digital piece of paper that's easy to organize, and it's a device that's designed to do one thing exceedingly well. So I got to give it to it in that aspect. I definitely think that it's an innovative piece of tech in capturing the feel of writing on a piece of paper. I look forward to trying this out over the next 2 weeks. But one thing that I would say is that I don't recommend the case. Now, don't get me wrong. This case, it fits it perfectly. It's just overpriced. Really, if I had to throw a gripe, is that the case is just overpriced. The most that I'd pay for a case would be a premium case for a tablet is like $59. $79 would be a far-fetched max. But again, at the end of the day, all it is a case. Of course, it does have magnets inside, which would probably set it apart from some other cases on Amazon, being that, it automatically closes on its own. And the dimensions of it is it just fits the tablet really well. It slides in, locks into place, and then boom, throw your pen in there and you are good to go. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing fancy about the case other than, the material it's made out of, which is supposed to be black leather. I mean, it feels nice, feels okay, but at the end of the day, it's just a case. That's my only gripe. So that's it for me in this video. I hope you found this video helpful towards making a decision whether or not you want to check this product out. If you do, I will have a link in the description regarding on how you can view this device, whether that's on Best Buy or Amazon. If you do happen to use the link in the description, a portion of what you spend will come back to the channel as an affiliate at no additional cost to you, and that just helps the channel grow so that I can keep pumping out more helpful content like this to you guys. But yeah, as always, thanks for viewing, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.